now Tony Prince William has shaved his head.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Bad call, William. The sides are the secret to the sexting.
Okay, nobody's going to agree with that. But you know what? I haven't seen the picture. Maybe you
No,
have.
I haven't. I'm sort of stunned.
It sounds to me like it's buzzed. Shaved means razor on your dome. Okay? That's what it means.
Okay. This guy is going to be the king of England. This is a radical thing for the king of England.
So what are they going to do? They kick him out?
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Because this is a new look for you. Isn't
What's
it
his in honor of
sartorially?
Ben Bradley in the Post?
At about
Lucid,
6 o'clock at night, something like that?
You know, we think
really?
Ben, yeah.
Oh.
Now it could be Sammy.
Sammy Davis
Yeah.
Jr.? No. You need a tuxedo and the bow tie open.
I might do that one day.
If you personally,
Joey Bishop?
if you bring back the Rat Pack, we get a lot more viewers.
Like that.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, is Tom Brady okay? Will Drew Brees stay a Saint? And is baseball about to impose a pitch clock?
Hope so.
But we begin today with the justice handed out by the NBA to some of the players on the Houston Rockets who were involved in that locker room breach with the Los Angeles Clippers the other night. Trevor Ariza and Gerald Green received 2-game suspensions. Chris Paul and James Harden were essentially given Boy Scout merit badges.
I know you hate that.
Wilbon, the Rockets are said to be shocked and disappointed that Blake Griffin and Austin Rivers got nothing. Should they be?
No, if you suspended people for talking trash in the NBA specifically, probably in all sports, but in the NBA, where it's an art form, where it's applauded, it's lauded, people are ranked as to how good of trash talkers they were over their careers, Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, you'd have no league. So you can't suspend Austin Rivers for following the tradition of a league. No, sorry. The guys who got suspended, the league conducted interviews with, I don't know, nearly 20 people. They determined through whatever evidence that these were the people that needed to be suspended. Let it go.
This is a joke, right? This is Adam Silver. This is a personal joke because this is the only way you can read this. Adam Silver is saying to the better players, don't worry about what you do. I got your back. I'm going to suspend Trevor Ariza, a marginal starter, and Gerald Green, who nobody has ever heard of. But the guys who sell life insurance on TV, and the guys who sell cars on TV, and the guys who sell sneakers on TV, like Paul and Griffin and Harden, you guys are good. You're good with me. Don't worry about a thing. This is not justice.
And you know this. How? How the hell do you know this?
I saw it.
You didn't see anything because you were dead fast asleep.
I've seen
and
all the replays.
I'll bet a paycheck for a whole year.
I've seen all the replays.
You didn't see it.
You just want to line up in lockstep with the NBA, and so you want to say they conducted 20 or 30 interviews.
They conducted. So do you know that those guys caused trouble? Do you know that?
I assume they caused trouble because they were in the locker room.
Is what again? What's that saying we learned in grade school?
They're in the locker room. If you want to be Baghdad Bob for Adam Silver, fine.
My point is, you sitting up here talking your trash, let's suspend you because you don't know jack. You weren't even watching it. At least I watched it.
Blake Griffin should have been suspended.
Why?
He was the antagonist in all this. Chris Paul and James Harden. You cannot ignore the fact that the All-Stars, that the MVP candidates...
So suspend them because they're good.
That the people who people pay to see are going to play, but a couple of guys, the sacrificial lambs are not popular guys.
Do you know of anything they did to warrant a suspension?
No, I don't know of it.
Thank you very much. I'm done with this
Do you know of anything that they didn't do?
I don't, and
Were
you
they
don't
back there in the locker room?
So I'll take the NBA's word for investigating. You call him a liar?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I am. I'm saying that Adam Silver wants the players to know that he's got their backs.
Even if he doesn't have their backs.
He's got their backs.
You know this. How exactly? This witness.
Because I'm smart.
This witness is so impeached.
I'm a doctor. That's how I know.
We have what's passing for pregame intrigue in Patriots versus Jaguars. Tom Brady has an injured hand. Suffered whatever it's supposed to be in a collision with a teammate on a handoff drill. Unsaid so far is whether the offending teammate has been issued a lifetime ban. Anyway, reports from Boston say x-rays were negative and there's no structural damage. And Brady was spotted in warm-ups wearing a red glove, but did not actually participate in today's practice. Tony, does this news now lead you to believe the Jaguars have a greater chance of beating the Patriots?
Here's what it leads me to believe. That if I were so inclined yesterday to think the Jaguars had a chance of beating the Patriots, I would feel a little bit better about my inclination that they had a chance. And if I thought it was unthinkable that the Patriots could lose this game, I would point out that this is Thursday, that he showed up in practice, that everybody's saying it's not a critical injury, and that on Sunday, unless he's Michael Jackson, he's going to have the red glove off, and he's going to be out there flinging the ball.
Now, chimp with him?
Jacksonville's strength is right up the middle, sacking quarterback.
Too.
Right.
Yeah.
So if he's got a hand injury that prevents him from getting the ball out of his hand as quickly as he normally does, then this is a big deal. And I do have to say that if you don't practice on Thursday, if you don't practice at all, you could say, ooh, that may be serious.
The Patriots can beat you running the ball.
Yes,
they can beat you with Tom Brady blowing kisses as long as he's throwing them to Gronk. 87?
Yeah,
you can get the ball to him. Can he get the ball 4 yards down the field? So I'm not inclined to believe Jacksonville has any chance. Will I take any chance from 2% to 10%? Okay.
We have to do that.
You can convince me to do that.
Yeah,
because if Brady actually is hurt, and if you can get to that hand and sort of mangle him or step on him or do whatever you do, and then you know what he won't be able to do? He'll have to point at offending teammates with his left hand. He won't be able to scream with his right hand and point to the people who aren't blocking for him. But I still believe the Patriots will crush them.
So what I love about this story is it speaks to two things that are important. It speaks to the mysticism of the Patriots, which Belichick has cultivated over a long period of time. And it speaks to the mythic quality of Tom Brady. You know, actually somebody in this building earlier today said to me, well, what if it's like JPP, Jason, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pierre-Paul, and half his hand was blown off in a firecracker incident. And I said, I think we would know that. I don't think that would be hidden.
The Patriots wouldn't tell you.
But I think somebody would know. I think that would be tweeted out. Drew Brees' contract is up, and the New Orleans Saints cannot apply the franchise tag to him. At 39, Brees is completely free to go where he wants. Now, everyone assumes that Brees will work out something with the Saints. But Wilbon, should some other team make Brees, an offer he cannot refuse?
You know, Tony, only if you think you've got something for 1 year that's going to get you a Super Bowl, because winning one is a great thing. Winning one is great. And so we saw Denver do this, and they had a couple of cracks at it, really 3 of them with Peyton Manning, and they got one. So if you've got
they got to the Super Bowl twice.
Got to the Super Bowl twice. Won, and we're in the contention a third time. So if you think you can win one, and Denver might be on deck again for this, I think there are teams out there that are always delusional, that think they're just one player away, the Washington Redskins, who will bring in somebody, and they'll go 4-12, and Brees will say, why didn't I know this place was toxic?
Well, Brees is smart enough to know.
Yeah, he has to know. But how many teams would do this?
Well, I think Denver is one of those teams. It seems to me that Arizona might be one of those teams. It seems to me that Jacksonville, if they fail in this playoff, you know, and they look at Blake Bortles and they say, we can get Drew Brees, you do it. My rejoinder to that is that Drew Brees is on a team that should be playing on Sunday. They won that game. Okay, he's got Kamara, he's got Ingram, he's got a defense, and he's got a coach. Who's completely sync with him.
He trusts.
So why, if you're Drew Brees, why would you go for something iffy when you've got it right now?
Somebody doubles up the offer. It is said, it is presumed that he would stay in New Orleans for the hometown discount. I guess because Tom Brady stays in New England, despite making half or third of what he could make. But maybe Drew Brees doesn't want to do that.
Well, Drew Brees' ties, because he came right in the post-Katrina stuff, Drew Brees' ties to New Orleans are very strong. He's an icon in that area.
There's no question.
And maybe, I don't think you can assume he'll do that.
Right.
But what is important here is he'll be 40 at this time next year in the playoffs. So he's not getting a long-term deal. So if he wants to cash out with one giant 1 to 2 year mega deal, you do it. But I don't think he goes.
Brees from Texas, right?
Yes, originally from Texas.
Houston Texans, don't they need a quarterback perennially?
No, because they got the rookie from Clemson.
I know, but he's got to come back from a year-long rehab, right?
But he's good.
He's
good.
Like it. Deshaun Watson we're talking about. The San Antonio Spurs, staying in Texas, are shutting down their best player and their one-time NBA Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard, indefinitely. The team's medical staff says his injured leg isn't responding the way it wants to see. He's played in only 9 games this season, and Coach Pop says, quote, so we're going to stop him for an indefinite period. I don't know how long that will be, close quote. But Pop did add he doesn't think this will be season ending. Tony, Leonard has had some pretty damn good games when he's played, but with the Warriors looking as dominant as they are, do you think the Spurs are better off protecting Leonard for the long term?
He's their best player. You cannot rush him back. But when you say in terms of the long term, which is next season or the season after or something like that, this is a very old team.
Yeah.
Parker and Ginobili are really old, and they're not getting any
They're as old as Drew
better.
Brees.
Right. Pau Gasol is 37 years old. LaMarcus Aldridge, which people don't realize,
34?
he's 32 right
32,
now.
okay.
So they're beginning that slide.
Yeah.
To me, if you can get them back, the Golden State Warriors could win 5 years in a row. They got four. I believe they got four of the best 20 players in the league on one team. And the West is going to get better next year if LeBron James goes west. They're going to get so to me, your window at San Antonio is rapidly closing. Or you think not?
Tony, you make a good case. I would say this. Because you can look at the same argument, you can use the same argument to support either position here. Because you have an aging team, and in the NBA, you need a star player. You could, at 26, build around Kawhi Leonard going forward.
Yes.
And try to get there by the time he's 30. And you could have a pretty good, especially San Antonio.
That's it.
But I mean, Tony, they know how to acquire players late in the first round like nobody's business, because Ginobili and Parker were both that. One of those guys, I think, was second round, Ginobili. Anyway, I understand bringing him back. Now, look, they had a 25-point lead on Golden State in Game 1 in Oakland.
That's right.
And the Spurs can't forget about that. How could they? They know, they feel they were the team to beat them.
We talked about this the other day in terms of baseball. The teams would save their money this year and go after people next year. They play playoffs every year. They have championships every year. I think that San Antonio, at the age of San Antonio's players, I think they have to think about this year. I do. It's just me.
That's a tough thing to have to shut
Kenny Rosenthal has a story in The Athletic that baseball players are expected to reject Commissioner Rob Manfred's suggestions for pace of play improvement. And if they do, Manfred is expected to unilaterally impose a 20-second pitch clock for the upcoming season, beginning in just 2 months. Well, Bon, are you okay with Manfred imposing this pitch clock on a labor force that is clearly opposed to it?
Yeah, Tony, I am. Because the games are too damn long. National League playoff games, your Nats and my Cubs. You know what games 4 and 5 took? 4 hours, 3:57. That's 4 hours. And then 4:30 for Game 5. Tony, not even extra inning games. We're not talking about massive rain delays. Just the time of game. You can't have that. So if the players don't want to on their own, and look, there's some suggestions the players have, I think baseball should follow too, between innings, although that deals with paying the bills and our bosses. But you have to shut these games. You have to lop a half an hour off these games to make them palatable.
So this is interesting to me on a variety of levels. Because my first inclination is to say, you have to do this because baseball and all sports, they're entertainment. The difference for me in baseball is this. There's nobody more important to any team in any sport than a pitcher in baseball. And if a pitcher believes he's being rushed and he believes this is negatively affecting his performance, then psychologically he's not in a good spot. I would never do this in the playoffs. I'm into the playoffs. But I do think that not only do I think the number one problem baseball has is length of game, it may be the only problem baseball has.
Yeah, but the problem is bringing new viewers into television.
So Manfred has to fix pace of play.
Of course he does, Tony. And by the way, pitchers are used to this now because since 2015, the minors have it.
I know.
You got to cut the game. The players don't appear to understand there's a problem.
I think
the commissioner's job is to say, hello,
I guess all I'm saying is, I think I'm for, I know I'm for this, but I understand why pitchers and players are not for this. You know, because they don't look at it as entertainment the way we do.
Is it not a problem?
It is a problem. Let's take a break. Coming up, is Isaiah Thomas secretly sour about Paul Pierce taking away his tribute?
And would the Colts be wise to give Josh McDaniels a second crack at head coaching?
So I got through the A block without coughing.
That's good.
Yeah, but that means I'm dead in the next. I'm just dead in the next.
Pardon the Interruption is brought to you by Wide Fit Footwear from Skechers.
He did.
One of the co-hosts on this show, hours before Jalen Rose used it on this show.
I'm just saying. Did I say that? Oh, wow. Jalen Rose probably, maybe not watching you, because I heard he puts it on mute when you're on.
Is that right?
When I'm on.
Right? Okay.
All right?
Then he
anyway,
didn't hear
back to the original
topic. He could have
topic.
read my lips.
IT was revealing.
Yeah.
It was revealing when he said this, because the tweet was very gracious. This was basically saying, yeah, what he said.
That's exactly right.
But I didn't think that,
It's okay.
Can we all get along? Huh? You trying to further have beef?
Yes, Rodney. Next.
Damian Lillard should feel blank about being behind Lonzo Ball in the All-Star vote.
He should feel insulted, colossally insulted, incredibly insulted. He averages 25 points a game, and he shoots 43%. Lonzo Ball averages 10 and shoots 36%. The fact that Lonzo Ball has close to 30,000 more votes than Damian Lillard speaks to two things. It speaks to big city and big mouth.
And that's
that's what it's about.
Damian Lillard should feel big time.
Okay.
He's getting big time.
That is terrible.
This has to do with big baller
Yes, it
and
does.
big city LA to the south.
Yes.
You don't need numbers. Damian Lillard is a much better player
Yes,
at this
is.
point of his life
Yes, he is.
than Lonzo Ball. This is not arguable. The starters are going to be announced shortly, by the way, and neither one of these two guys are going to start. But Damian Lillard better be an all-star. Had better be.
Next.
Patrick Ewing should feel blank about his first season at Georgetown.
He should feel strategic because he went all the way into the middle of January before it was revealed that he has a terrible team. He scheduled nobody for the first 11 games before they went into the Big East season, and he went 10-1. And then last night, and I know you were there,
I was.
before you sat down, it was 31-8 Villanova.
Yeah.
And at one point, 88-44. But Patrick Ewing can say, hey, we're 12-6, we're good.
Well, Tony, I mean, he should feel encouraged because coming
Encouraged?
into this job,
I thought
there
you were
two
there.
things. I
But
was
you
there.
saw that game.
I didn't say from the game.
Oh, okay.
The question's about the season.
Okay.
All right. So we knew two things. Half the people didn't even think Patrick Ewing could coach, which to me was a joke that they thought that.
He's had a lot of
Patrick
time to
Ewing-
learn how to coach.
Yes, he has put in an apprenticeship
That's
and a long one. And secondly, Tony, this is a total rebuild for Georgetown and Patrick Ewing. So the fact that they won any of those games, he was smart enough not to schedule
nobody.
behemoths.
That is exactly
Don't do
right.
that. That's dumb. Look
Schedule
what happened with
nobody.
Villanova.
Next.
Encouraged.
Last one, Josh McDaniels would make for a blank head coach hire for the Colts.
A dependent head coach, because you have to tell me, is Andrew Luck going to be healthy and is Andrew Luck going to play? Because he is dependent on Andrew Luck. If he's got to go with Jacoby Brissett, who he coached in New England, the ceiling is not nearly as high. We bring this up because Greg Doyle ripped McDaniels to shreds in the Indianapolis Star for his work at Denver.
Yeah.
And at one point he likened him to Lane Kiffin, calling him, and I'm quoting here, an arrogant young punk. But other than that, welcome to Indianapolis.
But you could rip Bill Belichick's work in Cleveland, even though he
Yes,
didn't
good.
make the playoffs.
Yes,
By the
good.
way, you know who Cleveland's last playoff victory was under? What coach, head coach? Bill Belichick.
I didn't know they'd won a playoff game.
Apparently,
I know they
won
got
a
there
playoff game.
once.
So Josh McDaniels would be a safe head coaching hire. You can always pick somebody from the multiple-time championship team and be okay with your bosses and with the general public in your area, with that team's nation.
I hate that term.
I do too.
I really hate that term. That's it. I'm done playing doctor. Let's take one last break, but still to come, God help us, Carmelo Anthony explains why he's rediscovered the joy of basketball.
Aren't you one of the heads of Bearcat Nation? I think you are.
We don't have Bearcat Nation.
Huge news! Mel Kiper reveals a potentially surprising top pick in his first of 84 million mock drafts.
We don't have Bearcat Nation or Bobcat Nation or Binghamton Nation. This whole nation thing. I'll give you Raider, and then stop. And then stop. Happy 23rd birthday, Leonard Fournette, the rookie running back out of LSU, had a very productive year for Jacksonville. His 1,040 yards in only 13 games, 8th best in the NFL, and among rookies, only Kareem Hunt of the Chiefs gained more yards on the ground than Fournette. Really good crop of rookie running backs. Fournette, Hunt, Alvin Kamara of the Saints, Christian McCaffrey of the Panthers.
And if used properly, it shows you that running backs should not be on the extinct list.
Right.
Use them.
Right.
Figure out a way to use them, some of the most athletic guys on your field. Do that.
Yeah.
And they did with
Don't
Fournette.
disparage them.
And McCaffrey
Yeah.
as well.
Happy anniversary, Lynn Swann. On this day 42 years ago, Swann caught four memorable passes from Terry Bradshaw for 161 yards and a touchdown on the way to being named MVP in the Steelers' second straight Super Bowl win. The amount of Hall of Famers from that Super Bowl team is stunning. Bradshaw, Swann, Franco Harris, John Stallworth, Mike Webster, Jack Ham, Joe Green, Mel Blount, Jack Lambert, and, of course, Chuck Noll.
And you can't argue against any of them.
No, you can
All
argue
those
for
guys
others.
deserve to be on there. And maybe a couple of others that were left off as well.
It's amazing.
Stunningly great
Happy
team.
trails to Chris Dunn's two front teeth. After converting a steal and dunk against the Warriors last night, the Bulls' second-year guard lost his equilibrium
Turn your head.
while hanging on the rim. Oh, and face planted on the hardwood floor. Dunn chipped and dislocated both his front teeth. He's probably spending today in a dentist's office.
He may be, Tony. At first it said he didn't have a concussion. Now apparently they say he does. That team, the Bulls, led by Dunn, they pressed Golden State last night for the entire game. The Warriors starters are on the floor at the end. Steve Kerr had to call timeouts. Dunn is getting better and better and better every night out there.
That, when he hits the ground and you watch it in slow-mo, it looks like he could be unconscious at that point. One omission, the NBA suspended Aaron Aflalo 2 games, just 2. For taking a swing the other night.
That should have been 5.
You're not happy with that.
That should be 5.
Big finish. Derrick Rose probable to return
Yes, sir.
to the Cavs against the Magic tonight. Big deal?
It is to some of us who still love Derrick Rose, Tony, and probably a big deal to that team. They could use him. Carmelo says accepting his role has made basketball fun again. Your thoughts about Carmelo Anthony?
Spare me. Stop. Wyoming quarterback Josh Allen is the top pick in Mel Kiper's mock draft 1.0. What do you like about him?
I like it the draft isn't until May or June. It could be in August for all I care. The top 2 teams in the NHL play tonight, the Golden Knights and the Ning. I know you're excited.
You know, seriously, if you gave me 10 tries and you said pick the top 2 teams,
You would have gone there.
No, I wouldn't
Golden
have
Knights and
gone
the
to the
Ning.
Lightning ever.
The Lightning was in
Zero
the
chance.
Cup Finals
Last one,
3 years ago.
T-Wolves, Rockets tonight. Who you got?
Man, I mean, I guess the Rockets, they don't have much in the way of suspensions. They'll miss Trevor Ariza, but
No,
Paul
they're good
and Beard are
players.
there.
They're good players are allowed to
The
play,
best
of course.
players are playing.
Thank you, Adam. We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony
Good love for
Kornheiser.
Jimmy Butler. Come on in, Cat. I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple
Piper
Podcast.
Parabo. I'm fine. Thanks for your concern.